Welcome back on the AM show. And as indicated, we're starting off talking about the transport fares. Commercial transport operators in Ghana have declared a 30% increment, now reduced to 20%, starting from Monday, the 22nd of January. Now, they cite significant increments in the cost of lubricants, spare parts, DVLA service charges, among others. Of course, spare parts we know, Abosokai, among other places, and the imposition of different taxes and levies. Well, this morning we're hosting David Agbado. He is PRO for the Concerned Drivers Association. He joins the conversation. Mr. Agbado, a very good morning to you.
Good morning. I think
but it appears things are going down a certain road once more. So I just want to find out right off the start, but maybe before I get to that, if you look at the members of your association today, you look at them in terms of the way they are living on the back of the economy and everything. What picture would you paint to me?
I'll paint a very gloomy picture that will not be nice to the public.
Which is what?
Our transport these days and the way it's going is going down the drain, because each and every day things are going at the higher side. And it's affecting the car owners and the drivers as well. And these days, if you're a car owner and you have a fault on your car and you didn't go in for loan, you can fix the car. Meanwhile, the car's supposed to work and you keep the money for fixing of it. But as I speak with you, any little thing beyond 1,000, you have to go in for loan.
Beyond 1,000 cedis.
Beyond
You're telling me that the drivers in your association are so hard pressed financially that if something were to come up, even costing 1,000 cedis, they would have to go for loans. But they don't own the vehicles. Most of them are not car owners. They are merely drivers. And I use merely respectfully. I'm just saying that they are not the owners of these vehicles, by and large, right?
Yes, it's true. But I will tell you, for Ghana now, 70% of the drivers are now car owners via the high purchase thing that have come into Ghana. So it makes we, the transporters or the drivers now, some of us are car owners. And that's why I say it's affecting us, because we are paying on high purchase.
Okay.
Every week, you need to pay a certain amount. And the amount is very huge. When you have a little problem, then you need to go in for a loan. And that's how we are now. Even some people have been injected from their homes. Some even can afford their children's school fees. You see, so that is how we, the Ghanaian drivers, are looking like these days when you go to our various stations. Even some are not even sleeping in their homes. They're sleeping in their cars because you have to...
Some of your members are sleeping in their cars?
Yes, at the station. Because you have to do extra work to get something to check yourself or to balance yourself.
Tell me, so you say the Concerned Drivers Association, I know you have a lot of buses, among others, in there. I don't know whether those are the ones you are referencing, the normal trotro, or you're referencing the taxis and others. Tell us about your membership. What kinds of vehicles do they have?
We have coaches, we have trotros, we have the taxis, and we have the cargo cars as well.
So coaches, trotro, taxis, and which one?
The cargo cars.
Cargo.
The goods carrying cars as well.
What is the strength of your membership? How many are you?
Every day we get members, but for now I can say the membership is huge. It's huge.
How big? I mean, give us an estimate. 2,000, 10,000, 50,000. Averagely, how many are you?
Averagely, I would say we are the second largest.
After
GPRTU. We are the second largest before Pro Tour and other one comes.
How many members does the GPRTU have? Do you know?
I don't know the GPRTU numbers, neither Pro Tour. Even my own, I'm contemplating to give you the exact figures, how much more GPRTU and Pro Tour.
So you don't have the exact figures?
I don't have the exact
figures. You can't give me an estimate. I mean, you are PRO.
I'm PRO, yes. But this one, I have to contact my secretary before giving it out. Because, you see, it's data, and I need to be accurate.
Right. I feel you on that. In recent times, even as we talk about what has led us here, I just want to enumerate a few things. Have you heard of the emissions levy?
Yes.
Of 100 cedis per year?
You see...
No, I just want to find out. Have you heard of it?
We heard of it.
Has there been any conversation about that with you? Because it's to affect vehicles that use petrol or diesel? And I know a lot of your members, especially the cargo and others, will use diesel. That's why I'm asking. So you're aware of it?
We are aware of it.
Have there been interactions with you as a drivers' union about it?
No, absolutely no. They didn't even invite us to anything. We asked GPR, we had a meeting with GPRT yesterday. We asked them as well that this eco tax that they are talking of, did they invite them? Because they are the largest, so maybe they want to seize that opportunity to invite them first. Did they do? They say no. So that tells you the transport community are not recognized by those that are, those that are in affairs of today in transport.
So you're telling me as of now, okay, let me add another one. The vehicle income tax, which was supposed to have started from the start of this month, the start of this year. If you are the owner of a vehicle performing a ride-hailing service, whether Uber, Bolt, Yango, whatever it is, you pay those taxes. How about that? Has there been any consultation?
There is no any consultation. But this income tax issue cropped up last year. Somewhere July or August thereabout. And they start arresting those that are applying long distance, like Takrade, Aplau, the long distance, the Kumasi and other ones. They start arresting them. So the call have been coming to our office. We follow up to GRA and other things. They say, yes, they have started, but there is no any engagement with us for us to, communicate to our members.
Okay, so I intentionally asked for those two. It means that for the vehicle income tax, as far as you know, there's been no interaction with your membership, not with the GPRT. You don't speak for them, but at least you share information with them, and not on the eco tax or the emissions levy as well. All right. Now, have you started paying the emissions levy?
No.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Okay. And your members haven't started paying the vehicle income tax yet?
The vehicle income tax, we encourage them to start because it's 3 months. And the very first 15 days, they don't check. After the 15 days before they start checking. So we encourage them to, go in for it. Because come what may, once we have now resumed full to pay the income tax, they must pay it. And we must too as well. So we are encouraging everybody to pay it. That's why there is no any talk or discussion with us. Once it is in the airwaves, they must support and we should do it.
And you know exactly why I'm asking you these questions, right? Because it could have a concomitant effect on transport fares. Now let's talk about the transport fares. About 2 years ago, a year and a half, 2 years ago, there were frequent increments. It led to a lot of rancor between you, the commercial drivers, and government. Then somewhat things normalized. Some of the fares are still surprising for me. Sometimes when I go and ask, maybe I don't do trotro, but one of these days I probably might just to check out. But I am surprised nowadays when I ask about some distances and I'm told the fares. I get surprised. From back then and now, I get honestly shocked. But why are you back here jousting, tussling with government? What are the factors that have brought you here?
Thank you very much. The factors are, you see, the things that we use in terms of increasing the transport fare and other things have gone up drastically. Let me cite them. We have 5 components. The fuel, the lubricant, the spare parts, and then a cost of a car.
Cost of a car?
Yeah. And then the stationery and printing, as you are asking, the income tax, the levies and other things.
Taxes and levies.
Yeah, and then the
I believe you've also spoken about charges at the DVLA.
DVLA charges, yeah. Those are, we term it as stationery and printing.
Okay, all right. And so I'm seeing here fuel, lubricants, spare parts, cost of a car, taxes. So cost of a car, is that maintenance or the actual cost?
The actual cost of the car itself.
The actual cost of the car.
Yeah.
Of course, prices have gone up.
Yeah.
A vehicle that I know for a fact, some of the vehicles you would have got for 35, 40,000, let's say 3 years ago, would cost about 70,000+. Some of them. Even
not 3 years ago, last 4 months or 5 months ago. Sprinter buses were sold at, I'm very conversant with the old currency. So I will do the old currency, then we transfer into the new currency. Sprinter bus last year, somewhere October, November, thereabout, was 140 million.
14,000.
14,000. Yeah. Now it's 220 million.
That's 22,000.
Yeah.
That's an increment of 8,000 cedis.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's about
That's
another
only
50%.
Yeah, that's Sprinter bus alone. Talk less of the vehicle that we call Toyota Fish. Toyota Haze, but we name it Toyota Fish. It was 90 and 100, but now it's also 300.
So that was about 90,000
yeah, and
to 100,000 Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
And now it's about 300,000.
Yeah, 232. 230. Yeah,
230,000.
Yeah.
Which one is that? That's the
Toyota Fish.
Toyota Haze.
Yeah, the Haze.
See. So how do you still manage grappling with these increments? Of course, if people are still buying the vehicles, it means you have money. You have the money to do so. I mean, if it's increased from, this is about a 200% increment, 90 to 100,000, and then from that figure, that was the initial figure, it's 230,000, and then 14,000 to 22,000. How are you able to do these financial gymnastics?
Exactly.
Then it means you have money.
We don't have money. That's why we are forced to charge this 30% that we are talking of. You see, we have run transport from September to this time on losses. And we don't want to continue, because if we continue to the next month, maybe we'll run out of business and we'll not have anything doing. So we were forced to do that. The fares alone, the increment alone in spare parts too is very huge and very high.
So walk us through some of them. Let's take them one by one,
Okay.
these components. Fuel. Fuel prices have dipped a bit in recent times. What is your complaint there?
Yes, fuel price have come down a bit. Yes, we accept it. But you see, I told you it's 5 components. Fuel is just only one. The reason why
I want us to do a breakdown for so
yeah.
we know, because I remember in the thick of inflation and everything, fuel prices in some instances hit 19, 20, even 21,
23.
21 plus cedis.
Yeah.
You're saying 23.
23
Okay.
was the highest.
Now you have some 11 something, 13.
Yeah,
14,
it's
depending
12
on
and
what you are buying.
12 and 13.
Depending on what you are buying.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're going for the V powers or RON 95, that's a different matter. But you guys, you don't do that, so that's fine. But at least there's been a decrement. That's about 8, 9, 10 cedis in some instances, right? So fuel, I mean, I'm just going by each of the metrics.
Yeah.
So fuel is not really a problem, is it?
Fuel is not really a problem now. Yeah.
Though, I mean, it used to be 5, 6, and now it's 12. But still, it has stabilized.
It has stabilized.
So it's not a problem.
It's not a problem.
All right. Let's go to lubricants.
Yeah.
That I know there's a problem there. What is the problem?
Yeah, lubricant was 60 cedis and even up is moved to 100. But now lubricant, the list that you can get is 175 cedis or 180 cedis. That's the list. When you go to Total and other ones, I don't want to do advert for anybody, but you go to the ones that we are conversant with in Ghana here, sells as 220 and 200. Yeah, 220 plus. Yeah.
I know engine oil is also in there because when you get the engine oil, you have to change your filter. There'll be workmanship and all of that. And I know for a fact that engine oil that used to cost about 100 plus cedis, now in some instances it's about 235, and there's good reason for knowing. I know that for a fact. And then you have to purchase your filter. You have to pay workmanship. You're looking at about 300 cedis. But for you, the commercial vehicles, what are the charges like?
Yeah, what you are saying is the same thing. See, formally, when you are changing oil, you use like 220 cedis for all. But now, let me cite Sprinter because I'm in that circle more than the taxis and the other ones. Sprinter, you use 2 gallons. And after the 2 gallons, you buy diesel filter and then engine oil filter as well. You buy, some of us use strainer because the fuel that we are buying, we can see some particles in it. So we want the strainer to strain it. So we use strainers. every change or every time that we are going to change oil, we have to change these things all. And for now, Strina was 15 cedis, but now 30 cedis. The oil filter, the diesel, was 30 cedis, now 75 cedis. The engine oil filter was 45 cedis, now 85 cedis. Before you go to the engine oil itself and then the workmanship. That tells you now if you want to change engine oil for Sprinter bus, you need 500 Ghana cedis to do it.
500?
Yeah.
I was even being generous. Of course, I was taking it from the saloon car point of view. So if you're using, for example, a Sprinter, you're looking at about twice as much, almost 500 Ghana cedis.
500 Ghana cedis.
All right. Are we done for lubricants? Are there any other?
Yeah, lubricant. Let's use the because the ATF and other ones. So
right.
The engine, the gearbox. At times you use it for 3 months or 6 months before you change it.
Right. The gearbox oil.
The gearbox oil. So that one we don't factor them much as engine oil. Engine oil, some of us every 3 weeks. Even some people that runs long journey use 2 weeks. Those that goes every day and come, they use 2 weeks. But 3 weeks, you have to change it. So that means every 3 weeks, you have to spend 500 on it. It's more than the 500 because you buy, when you are going for service, you have to change all the brake pad, the 4, you have to change it. And now brake pad also is very costly.
How much would you say averagely? Let's say for someone driving a Sprinter.
A Sprinter bus.
How much would you make in sales a day, a week, averagely?
A day is 200 cedis.
That's the sales you have to make.
Sales we have to make.
How much would you have generated? Likely.
You see, it depends on the station that works. At times, you can get 600 and then 700 at times. At times, you go high as 900. Okay. Even in December, right. Most of the drivers says, oh, the business was okay. Like 1,000 and 1,001 thereabouts.
Okay, out of the 1,001, for example, then what would go into that? You give out sales of 200 cedis. That's per day?
Per day.
Per day.
And then you buy fuel. You buy fuel.
You buy fuel.
Fuel like 600 because you go more.
So that's 800.
800. And then the rest goes for you and then the station that you work as well. Our station, a day, we have things that we pay because some people we pay old age for our members. So some of the members are not old, but they pay the money down before they get old because there are old people.
It's a sort of in-house pension.
Yeah. So we pay a day. Driver, when you go 3 trips, you have to pay 130 cedis. Yeah.
That means out of the about 300 plus that is left, you pay 130
cedis.
And then you are left with what, about 150?
150. And that one will be shared between you and your mate.
I see. Let's get back to it. Spare parts. What's the picture like?
For the spare parts, when we say it, then it becomes like heartbeat. Because whenever your driver calls you, even before I get in here, my driver calls me that when he was on the motorway going, the vehicle ceased to move. I got shocked. Spare parts, when they call you like this, the little that you go in for, even the starter and the alternators, that have been sold at 350. Starter is now 500 cedis. Starter, from 350 to 500 cedis within this December to January. Even the January is not up to end date. And it's 350 now to 500. When you go to steer rag, that one day I can talk of it. Steer rag of a Sprinter bus formerly was sold 1,002. That's 12 million. 12 million. Now it's being sold at 30 or 28 thereabouts. That's 2,800 or 3,000. The one that means sold at 120 now like that. And that is a steer rag alone. You come to the engine. We have 3 types of Sprinter engine. We have the original Sprinter engine that was sold at 150 million. That's 15,000. Now 35. 350 million.
35,000.
Yeah.
Hold for me. Let me bring in Godfred Abubire. He is General Secretary of the GPRTU. They have wanted to go up by about 20% in terms of transport fares. Mr. Abubire, a very good morning to you, sir. Hello, Godfred.
How are you?
I am well, sir. I hope you're well too.
I am very well.
You are the General Secretary of the GPRTU. I have in the studio the representative of the Concerned Drivers Association of Ghana, the PRO. Mr. Aguado is here with me. To start off the conversation, there's a question I posed to him. I want to find out from you. What is the strength of your membership? The GPRTU. How many members do you have? Do you know?
Wow. It's for membership. It is too large.
Yes, but for data purposes, there should be some delimitation. You should know how many members you have, even if it's 500,000 or 1 million.
I like the way you said it. We have about 2.6 million membership.
You are about
2.6
million.
Million, yes.
2.6 million
all
members.
All drivers and driver mates. When you talk about membership of GPRTU, you're talking about the drivers and then the members, bookmen, and the driver mates. They're all on a constitution. They're all members of the union.
I see.
Yeah.
But do you know how many drivers only? If we were focusing just on drivers.
No, talk about drivers. No, only drivers. We have about almost 2 million. A little less to 2 million.
Okay, drivers alone are a little less than 2 million. All right. Now, we have Protua and other members all concerned about some of the latest happenings that are impacting your work. But the GPRTU, you have also threatened to increase prices, transport fares. The question is, why? What are the metrics you are looking at?
Well, thank you so much for this question. But let me begin by saying that Happy New Year to you and then your studio.
Thank you.
I think a little latter part of last year, I think it should be November thereabout, we had the will of this new draft that the Parliament will pass into law, and then two components there. One was about the VAT extension on insurance premiums that we pay, and then the heading was about the extension of VAT on non-life insurance policy, and the other one was about the emission tax, which they said is the eco tax, which each car has to pay some 100 Ghana cedis yearly to the government. Now, when we had that, we held a meeting, and then we submitted a petition to the Parliament, and then a copy of it to the Select Committee on Finance, saying that, looking at the current situation, the return taxes that they had introduced on the SEPAs, is eating much into our operations. And then we had absorbed that one, thinking that could have been a little bit saving the situation for the general public. But if these 2,000 comes out, then obviously it will compel us to increase taxes, our fares, equally high to make sure we mitigate, including this tax on the spare parts.
Tax on what? So, spare parts?
Yes, on the spare parts. I believe if you can recollect from some months about last year, there was some newly tax introduced to the warehouse, and then the spare parts had gone high, extremely high. So now that they had not listened to our petition, and then they have gone ahead to pass those two bills, we held a meeting, and that was on Monday, as I believe, Monday, and we said that the union will not keep quiet, but that we also have to sensitize our members that lorry fare will have to be increased. The fact that these bills have been passed, it doesn't mean that they are yet implemented, but we were talking about 60% fare increment. So the 20% for the spare parts will go, whereas the moment they introduce and they implement the eco tax and they implement the VAT on the insurance policies, we will come out with another fare increment to mitigate the operation.
Wait, are you saying that as taxes are added on, you will also keep increasing fares?
Of course.
So with every new tax, let me ask you, for example, now we have the vehicle income tax. I'm sure some of your members are affected. The ride-hailing services, Uber, Bolt, Yango, and the rest. There's also the eco levy or emissions levy. Does that mean that you are factoring all of these in, and that moving forward, any other tax or levy that affects you will also attract a transport fare increment? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know whether you are aware component that we don't consider before increase of fare. I don't know whether you are aware.
I am aware of them, but I'm just asking.
Every time when we are supposed to do fare increment, it is these components that we normally gather and look at their percentage increment, and then we come out with a middle margin and increase our fare.
Mr. Abubire, I also know that depending on the increments, it doesn't mean that every time there's an increment, you immediately... No, hold on. I'm explaining myself. I'm also saying that I know for a fact, it doesn't mean there's a pool, about 5 plus, that you use. Spare parts, lubricants, the taxes, fuel, and all of that. I'm aware of them. But I'm saying it also doesn't mean that once there is an increment somewhere a little bit, you increase. That's why I'm trying to get the better picture from you about what your planning is.
Yes, our plan is that the fact that fuel doesn't mean that fuel is the only determinant on fare increment. Fuel is not the only determinant that we have to use to increase fare. It depends on the margin or the volume of tax that we are going to affect it with. Then daytime we have to increase fares. It doesn't mean that we must wait for fuel increment alone. I don't know whether I'm clear with that.
I don't think that is in contention. I think you've made your point on that.
Okay, good. And I'm not saying that it is basically on that path that the union had met, and we had issued out that letter and indicating that we'll increase fares. But there has been an intervention.
Okay, what intervention has been had?
Intervention, the sector minister called on leadership and asked this question whether when we submitted our petition to Parliament, did we pass through it through the Parliament, the ministry? And we said no, that we had ignored them. And he thinks that was not proper.
But must you always, I remember in the last few years when you've interacted with, is it the tripartite committee or the different groupings, must you always go through them? In the past, you have sidelined them. This wouldn't be the first time, right?
No, we have never sidelined them. Unless there's an agitation, like we are doing now. We have, you see, there's a protocol that we normally follow. But whenever there's an agitation that we have a deadlock in the meeting, then the union will go and do their own thing, and then that one, it doesn't mean that that's the procedure.
Okay, so in those instances, you didn't go by the book.
Exactly. So that's what I'm trying to explain. So
you're admitting here that you should have gone through the transport ministry.
He did, and then that we see that to be right. That if we had to petition from all other petitions we have done, we normally pass it through the ministry and then to send our petition, our grievance.
Okay.
So this time around, we have done it without that record. So he called and said that is where they think we have ignored the ministry.
So what have you resolved then? I mean, what is the resolution?
Put on hold. We have resolved to put on hold in the time being to go back to them, and then we have to discuss federally and give more reasons as to why we think that based on the step path, we are going to increase the fares.
Okay, so you have held on only because of those procedural reasons. You want to get the procedure right, but you will still go ahead.
Yes.
All right. Let me find out from you. So at the point, I heard you mention 60%, 20% for this and that. What percentage in actuality are you looking at?
Together or limited to what we are dealing with now?
I mean, with what you are dealing with now, all the different things, now, whether it's taxes.
We have mentioned 20%.
20%?
Yes.
Okay. So this 20% goes into everything, including fuel, including spare parts, including lubricants, including all the other components. That's how you came by this 20%, right?
And then let me add that just about last week, the insurance companies had reviewed their premiums by 10%.
Okay, insurance premiums as well.
Yes, and then DVLA2 have adjusted their fees.
Did you say DVLA?
I said DVLA.
Okay.
I said DVLA, and then there's something they have also added, which we are yet to battle with them. It's like they are saying that there's some element we call delinquency fee or delinquency levy.
Delinquency levy. What is that?
delinquency, that when you delay in coming to renew your driving license and it exceeds the expires between 1 day, you come and renew with a fee, all right, and then you pay a penalty for delay for the 1 day.
So even if it's just a day and you delay in renewing your driver's license,
yes,
you will be charged.
Or car documents.
You will be charged this delinquency levy, which is how much?
Which is about they according to them, it's about 30% on the actual fee you are paying.
So 30% in addition to actual figure.
Yes.
I see.
Then
so,
I confronted them on phone, and then they admitted that it is in the law.
Okay. Right.
You know, sometimes these are new introductions that we have seen, and then it has more effect on us.
So you say these are new things that have been enforced. So you've never dealt with this. They are telling you it's in the law, but you've never had to deal with this up until now, right?
Exactly, sir.
Okay. So let me find out from you. Does that mean that even the 20% we're talking about could increase, even as you have your engagements? Does that mean even the 20% could go up on the back of the DVLA and its increased charges, insurance premiums going up? Since last year, we were actually told it was going to go up, and I saw it when I paid in December. It has gone up by quite a margin, and but mine also has other things in there. And then this delinquency levy. So with all of this put together, does that mean it will even shoot past the 20%?
No, I think they are the components that we have gathered, and then talking about the 30%.
Okay.
And then we see the other initial 60 was referring to the VAT tax and then the eco tax, which are not yet implemented. But the 30% basically is referring to what you have just mentioned.
All right. So let me find out from you the eco tax or the emissions levy, and of course there's the VIT, which has also not really kicked in. When those kick in, does that mean the 20% will be affected?
Eco tax.
So the eco tax you've just mentioned, the emissions, I'm saying when that kicks in together with the vehicle income tax, does that mean likely we'll go above 20%?
Exactly so. I think that's what I'm making. That's what I'm mentioning.
Okay. So let me also find out from you right before I come back into the studio, why is it that as drivers' unions, you cannot have one percentage to go by? Sometimes you hear this one saying 20%, the other one saying 30%, the other one saying 22%. What is the arrangement? Why can't you have a consensus?
Well, I think we had moved that forum, I believe in November 2021. No, 2021. And then we had formed a coalition of transport operators. But somewhere along the line, there were some miscreants who were there, and then they were bombing and then presenting what the coalition would say. Sometimes you see somebody go out and malign a minister on things which we all at the coalition did not see. And then they were giving a very bad reputation to what we were all out for. So at that point, that coalition has had...
Do me a favor, Mr. Abubere. Please hold for me. Just hold for me, I beg of you. Please hold for me. We have the Deputy Minister of Transport, Mr. Hassan Tampuli, joining the conversation. Mr. Tampuli, a very good morning to you, sir.
Very good morning to you, Ivan.
The name is Benjamin Akakpo, and my apologies. I wasn't in the know that you had been on the line. My apologies for that, for holding you inadvertently. So let's do this. You are aware of the situation. I don't need to belabor the point. What do you make of where we are now with the drivers' unions? They are threatening to increase their transport fares. Do you feel it is justified?
Good morning to you and to your viewers and listeners. I think that I overheard the voice of the General Secretary of the GPRTU. Is that correct?
Mr. Abubere, who is the General Secretary of the GPRTU. Yes, okay. We also have the PRO, just to clarify, we also have the PRO of the Concerned Drivers Association of Ghana here.
When I heard the voice of the General Secretary, so I agree to him as well. I think that just like he alluded to, we have a standing arrangement with the GPRTU and the GRTCC as the umbrella group that negotiates for transport fares on behalf of all transport operators in the country. And the mechanism that we have put in place has been very, very efficacious. It works for everybody. It works for them, it works for government, and it works for the commuting public. And it's based about some amount of certainty and predictability and acceptability, if I may add. What we do is that we engage these operators based on certain parameters that will trigger the need for us to review the lorry fares. And what are some of these things? The price of spare parts, price of petroleum products, spare parts once in a while, petroleum products is a daily thing. They have the lubricants also maybe once in a while. And then you have maybe insurance premiums once in a year. So we look at all these factors. And then they are weighted into a basket. And there are experts who are familiar with arrangements, and they work for both the government side and the transport operator side. And these are objective criteria that all of us agree is best for us to have a just and equitable transport operating system in the country. A mechanism that would give them good returns on their investments, and then will continue to make them do business, and then at the same time also offering as a cushion for the commuting public. That's what we have been doing. On this occasion, any such thing has not been done. And if I can, refer to what my very good friend Mr. Bobre said, we have been doing this thing and it has been working.
Mr. Tampuli?
For us, yes, sir.
You say when no such thing has been had, what do you mean?
We haven't had this engagement, this negotiation.
Okay.
Normally we have these negotiations and then we go back and forth. There's need for us to trigger the negotiations, number one. If there is need for us, the second point is that what will be the rate? Then we'll look at the matrix. We'll look at all of these things and we'll put them in the basket. And then we'll weigh them and see, okay, what will be the impact of the price of petroleum products going down? Don't forget that at some point, price of petroleum products has gone up to about 23 Ghana cedis. Remember. Okay? Solomon.
We've actually discussed this here this morning.
Yes. So,
I was mentioning to the drivers that it's fallen from about 23 to about 12, 13.
Precisely. Today we have some even selling for 11.4, some going for 12 point something, and so on and so forth. So much as you may see that maybe insurance premium has gone up 10%, petroleum prices probably have gone down even more. Okay, so
let me just hold a second.
We have a meeting. That's why we negotiate.
Right.
We discuss. So we don't do likely to be or it's supposed to be. We look at the numbers realistically.
All right. So talking about looking at the numbers realistically, if you'll just bear with me for about a minute, I want to walk you through a few things. Like I said, the fuel prices, we actually sat here and mentioned. In fact, Mr. Agbado mentioned that it went as high as 23 cedis. Now we are looking at 12, 13 cedis. Like you say, some even 11 point something. But look at this cocktail. Fuel may be stable. Lubricants, something you would have got for about 60 to 100 cedis, is now about 175 cedis. Talk of engine oil. You could have got the whole process done, including the filter, whether petrol or diesel, and workmanship, for 200 cedis or less. Now you're looking at north of 300 cedis. Spare parts, the claim is that there have been some other taxes slapped on spare parts and that they are very expensive now. You can talk about the VIT, which hasn't even kicked in properly, the vehicle income tax. You are fully aware of that. The eco tax, the emissions levy. They are saying that with all of these things added to insurance premiums going up by the percentage they've gone up, we all saw the messages from last year. They say the DVLA has increased some of its taxes. They say the delinquency levy that the DVLA has started bringing up, which is per the law, according to what they've been told. They've never been aware of it, but that means that if you default even one day in terms of renewing your driver's license, you pay an extra 30% on the actual amount. Mr. Agbado in the studio has been telling me about how the cost of the vehicles they use have shot up. A Toyota Haze which would have been about 90 to 100,000 just a few months ago, close to a year ago, is now going for 230,000 Ghana cedis. Another bus, the Sprinter bus, which would have cost about 14,000, is going for 22,000. When you factor in all of these, are the drivers being unfair?
Okay, so that is why I keep referring to the fact that we have a standing arrangement. You bring all these numbers to the table. We validate them. You understand? We all validate the numbers, and we look at what impact it will make on the lorry fare. That's what we are saying. Nobody is challenging any figures, but normally you bring all of these things, and then we also look at them realistically. Is DVLA actually charging any new rate? As far as we know, no. All right? Have the taxes kicked in? As far as we are concerned, the taxes have not kicked in yet. You understand? So why this preemptive, strike? Trying to second guess, when the tax is going to come into being. So I said, let's have a conversation. Let's meet. Mr. Bobre, come to our office as you have always done. Let's sit down and then let's discuss these increases or these new areas that you think that are additional to your cost of operation. And then we consider the impact. Is it even possible that maybe all of these things put together would bring up the fare more than 20%? Is it likely that it will come down below 20% or to be 20%? Let's have a conversation. That's what we are saying. I mean, this is not difficult to ask. On behalf of the commuting public.
Okay, so basically, in principle, it is not wrong for them to do this. You feel, yes, there have been increments, though fuel hasn't really gone up. But you feel where the bone of contention is the path, the process they are using. They should have gone through your ministry in petitioning Parliament. And you just want them to come to the table to have a conversation, right?
Well, I'm not sure about this petitioning of Parliament. Parliament went on it. I don't know when the petitioning was done. But these matters that I'm talking about, we do them regularly. We do them regularly, and there's no Parliament involved in this. We actually do them sometimes with the involvement of Ministry of Finance, but mostly, 99% of the time, we do the meetings at the Ministry of Transport.
Let me clarify from...
A statement is issued, we all agree on the content of the statement, and it is issued.
Okay, and I think that point is clear. We know the processes, but hold for me like a few seconds. I want to clarify. Mr. Abubere, did you say that you had petitioned any members of Parliament or not?
Yes, I think my brother didn't get that particular part very well. What I said was that when we had ruled somewhere in November about the bill at the Parliament about the extension of VAT on non-life insurance policy, and then there was the eco tax, which is about the emission tax. We submitted a petition to the Parliament.
Okay, so this was in November last year.
Exactly.
All right, thank you.
And the copy was, so these are the areas we do. We didn't talk about the other taxes on the other one, but these two components we had, we were able to get it on the website, and we printed it out before we submitted the petition. But my minister is saying that we should have, as usual, petitioned to the Parliament through them.
All right, thank you. Thank you for that clarity. I just wanted that clarity. Is it clearer now for you, Mr. Tampuli?
I think I'm getting a better understanding of what he said.
All right.
But like I said, let's come back. We have had an excellent working relationship with the transport operators, and I don't think this is the time for us to break that bond that has kept us together, and that has also brought some, certainty and a certain degree of predictability as to how things operate, within the transport ecosystem. So I think that we should let's have an engagement, Mr. Bobre, please. Like we have been doing in the past. Let's do it again.
Before you go, there have also been instances, and I had cause to go down that road with Mr. Abubere. There have been instances where when there's a stalemate, then they go ahead and do certain things you ordinarily wouldn't have wanted them to do. In this instance, so you are saying they should come to the table, you will negotiate with them, and you can guarantee at least that you will let them give vent to their concerns, and then what happens? Your tabulations will be done?
Mr. Bobre will confirm to you that, look, we have negotiated and had discussion and conversation about transfer fares with them, and 99.9% of the time we have agreed. He's on the line. He will confirm to you 99.9% of the time we have agreed on what should be done. And we can do it again. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, so I don't know, there's no bone of contention here. I don't know what's happening, but this is not, what we are used to. And then I believe that nothing has come to spoil that relationship. Let's continue to engage and then come to a settlement. Like I said, who knows? When we put all the factors into the basket, it is impossible that maybe they deserve to have 22%.
Right.
Or 25%.
Right.
Or 18 or 15 or 10%. So until we sit down, we all plug it into the matrix and then work out, the modalities. It will be difficult for anybody to assume that, okay, this is what is going to impact deeper and this is what is going to impact lighter.
Mr. Tampuli, just hold for me. I'll not keep you more than another 2 minutes. Mr. Abubire, so
Yes.
Are you going to stick with your increase? Even if you have this conversation with the Transport Ministry, are you still going to push for an increment?
I heard that. I told you mentioned that the minister had asked to put on hold on it. So definitely until you go back to them and then sit down.
No,
But
I'm saying when you go back to them,
Yes.
that's what I mean. Will you still push for an increment?
No, the meeting will decide. But I'm happy he said that about 99.9%. I think if he had made it 100%, I would have said no. But I agree with what he's saying. But we'll go back to them and the meeting will decide.
All right. Gentlemen, Mr. Abubire and then Mr. Aguado, I just want to find out quickly from you, since we have the minister, are there any concerns you have that you want to raise here very quickly with him? I'll start with you in the studio, Mr. Aguado.
Yes.
It must be very brief.
Yeah. Is it always that we, the transporters, should come to them? Because they are there to regulate us. They know, and the indication started since October or November. Wouldn't they also call us quickly for us to sit? Because we are running at loss, as I said already. So not always that we should come to them. They always have to also prompt us so that we'll be in hand, not that we'll be at the longer head before sitting down and say, oh, now we have Georgia, things have no. No, we should all, cooperate and exist.
So the ministry, together with the other entities, they shouldn't wait till things come to a head. That is what you're saying. Mr. Abubire, do you have any quick word for the minister? I just want him to react to any concerns you may have before he goes. Mr. Abubire.
Yes, I want to give up my last one, but I think I want to disagree with Bado. You see, the law of fare increment has a cyclical component. That the moment law of fares are increased, it brings about inflation. So for us to go back there, I don't think it's out of place. Going back there to discuss and then make sure we arrive at something, it's not out of place. So I think by the time, when they call and give us a date, like the minister mentioned, we'll go there and discuss about it.
All right. Alhassan Tampuli, are there any reactions you have to this before you go?
Yeah, I think I'll react quickly to Mr. Agbado's comment. I think that I will take into consideration the comment that he made that maybe we should also have reached out one way or the other. But we'll take that into consideration so that maybe it will guide us in the future. But like I said, and then Mr. Abubire agrees with me, let's have this thing, let's continue to judge all. And we're able to get better results than, having to do this. We would have been having this meeting in the office instead of doing it on radio. Of course, not radio or TV. But of course, sometimes the public must also get an understanding of what happens, when we are having the meeting. So this is just a tip of the ice. Sometimes it gets very, very heated in our meetings. But at the end of the day, we are able to come to a certain compromise. I believe on this occasion, it won't be any different from what has happened in the past.
Thank you so much.
Please hold your fire.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Tampuli, for joining the conversation this morning. We're grateful for your time. Alhassan Tampuli Sulemana is Deputy Minister for Transport. He joined the conversation. Mr. Abubire, are you still with me?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So moving the conversation forward, you're going to have those negotiations with the Transport Ministry and the other stakeholders. moving forward. But on the other hand, before I let both of you go, on the other hand, usually, like you rightly said, once transport fares go up or fuel prices have a ripple effect among the other components, then inflation also ticks up. Some also say that, listen, it's becoming unbearable, these increments. I was just sharing with Mr. Abuado, some places that you would have paid 3 cedis not too long ago, all of a sudden you're paying 7 cedis, 8 cedis, 9 cedis, and with this, it means it will go up further. Are you considering the general populace in all of this?
You see, I am happy some of these questions are always asked from the media. We, from the onset, said that increment on lot of it is not a priority. You see, the effect there is that the moment you increase our fares, the daily passenger turnout becomes reduced, and then for that matter, number of cars dispatched per day is always reduced. So the option of fare increment is not the best. So it's just that when we have nothing to do or we have no other way to send, and then to make sure what our operations we can break even, then the issue of fare increment comes. It's not the best option. It's affecting our business because we will continue to increase our fares.
Okay. So basically, you only go there when it is absolutely necessary.
Exactly.
Okay. So let me ask you this as my final question. Assuming you go and negotiate with the Transport Ministry and others, and they tell you, no, we don't believe you need any increment, so nothing for now, just hold your horses. What would be the reaction of the GPRT? What would be your personal reaction?
I don't think, from the factors we have just counted, and then the minister also confirms it, I don't think they'll end up saying no, they will not agree.
He said it could be higher, it could be lower, but there's also a possibility. So let's say they give you 5%. Would you accept it?
Fine, that's a figure. Even 5% is a figure. 5% on a lot of fares is quite significant. It's significant. It's just that I'm saying that the element of body language on it is just that when you are asking for something, and then you also know that the effect is actually halfway detrimental to you. You speak with a bit of passion. We will not just say that what we say must be. So at the end, if the meeting concludes, even with the 5% inflation, it is also a good thing.
So you are willing to bend, basically?
It will have to.
All right, hold for me. I just got a reaction. Mr. Agbadu, let's say they give you 5% or less. Would you accept it?
For now, I will not say anything. Because, you see, when we get there,
but when Mr. Abubire said at least it's something, I saw you shaking your head vigorously.
Yes.
You wouldn't. It wasn't a good thing.
Yes, because you see, I mentioned some prices for you on a pass and then the cars. It's very costly, and the cars are deteriorating, and we need new ones. When you go to our street right now, the only arrest police does these days is lack of maintenance. Why lack of maintenance? Because we don't have money to fix them. So 5% to me, well, it's a figure, but we'll get there. I know it will not be 5%, it will be more than 5%. As Mr. Bugri said, yes, even when we are about to increase transport fare, we, the leaders, we have this shaking because the sales, even the booking fees, let me put it this way, our booking fees even reduce. The cars that are supposed to apply like 30 a day will be like 15 or 10. So we feel all these things. That's why we don't want to enter into it that adding transport fare to it. But it is the last resort that we always do this.
So for you, the way forward is what exactly? I mean, considering everything that has been discussed, are you willing, as members of the Concerned Drivers Association of Ghana, to meet with the Transport Ministry together with the other groups, drivers' unions?
Yes, we have been doing it since the time of Adams. So when we are invited, we'll go and we'll do the needful.
But wait, usually when you guys go and negotiate, is it each drivers' union has representation, right?
Yeah, we have. Everybody have representation over there.
All right. Yeah. So you're looking forward to that. Mr. Abubire, so from where you sit, what are your expectations? Do you have any timelines when you are hoping to start engaging the Transport Ministry? You've already heard from the deputy. What timelines are in your mind?
No, the minister has said that you were invited to come today on Friday.
Okay.
So we'll meet you on Friday and know what next line of action to take.
And so these matters that you've discussed with me, you will still carry all of them to those meetings,
all
right?
of them there. We cut all the, and then we discuss them.
Again, so this 20% increment, like I said, I just want to pinpoint. You are going to seek something as close to it as possible, right?
Come again?
You are going to seek as much as possible something, a figure pretty close to 20%, right?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Abubere, I think on the back of these discussions, we'll cap it off here and wait to find out what happens when you do have those conversations, and we'll get back to you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, let me come to you in the studio, Mr. Agbado. So, final words on this development. We've come pretty far. There's been an intervention from the Transport Ministry. Did you have any disagreements with Mr. Abubere's take? There were times when I noticed that you were not exactly in agreement. What is your take? At least you are different unions.
Yeah.
What is your take before I take your final words?
Yeah, thank you very much. As he said, you see, we are all doing the same thing at the same time. We have coalition, as he indicated, we have coalition of commercial transport, which is the work of GRTCC, Ghana Transport Coordinating Council. He's not doing the needful. So we quickly form the coalition of commercial transport. So he is our secretary. Abubere is our secretary. If something of this, he should put it on the platform for us all to know that, yes, minister called that we should do this, so that other bodies will all come together and do the needful. That's all I'll ask for from Mr. Abubere. And then continues with this, that, yes, the ministries too should not wait till we push them. They should be proactive. They should be proactive. That's my words for them. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. We heard from Godfred Abubere, General Secretary, GPRTU. He joined the conversation. We also had in the studio David Agbado, National PRO, Concerned Drivers Association of Ghana. And at a point, we also had the Deputy Minister for Transport, Alhassan Tampuli Suleimana, joining the conversation. Well, we're taking a breather. We'll return with more action on the AM show.